Our local podiatrist and foot specialist, Dr. Tanisha Richmond from Richmond Foot and Ankle Clinic, located at 1323 West Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Way, inside of the Dr. Charles R. Drew Health Center. You can reach Dr. Richmond Monday through Friday at 937-228-3668. That's 228-3668. And of course, we certainly recommend that you make an appointment to come and see her. And if nothing is wrong at all, that is your duty to yourself. You only have two, right?
Yes, you only have two.
So make an appointment and go see Dr. Richmond. You know, Dr. Richmond, you visited Cuba back in October of 2018, and you shared your trip. We did a whole show on it. It was really great. We got a lot of people that really tuned in and enjoyed that conversation about your trip to Cuba and the things that you discovered while you were there. And I understand you'll be going back.
Yes, actually, Congressman Payne, he wants to make it an annual trip, so we'll be going back next October. Well, this October coming up, and we'll be going back annually. And I think the Congressional Black Caucus really just trying to build already has built a relationship with ELAM, which is the medical school in Cuba. And Castro actually recruits, well, he's no longer living, but his goal was to recruit more underserved people from America to come and be students at ELAM, because you can actually go to ELAM tuition free. I think it's a 6-year program, but when they come from ELAM, they do come out bilingual. And at ELAM, they're taught more of a holistic way of practicing medicine. So in Cuba, the physicians in the morning have clinic, and then in the afternoons, they actually go into the home. So if a person is diagnosed with diabetes, the entire family is educated for diabetes, not just that person. And in different disease states, they involve the entire family. And also in Cuba, because they have socialized healthcare, their healthcare is continuous from their birth to their death. Mm-hmm. So they don't have the gaps and lapse of healthcare like we have in America. And then, of course, over there, they're more into preventative care, which we're trying to implement here in America with the PAD caucus and implementing more preventative care to prevent many of the things, well, most of the things that happen to many of our family members and cause them to become deceased was all preventable. Mm-hmm. But the way our healthcare system is set up now is not as much towards prevention. It's more fixing after things happen.
Fix that problem.
Yeah, after the fact.
But we need to learn to prevent that problem.
Yes, more of preventing even getting diabetes than treating it and addressing it once you get it. It's how to have a lifestyle that you'll never get diabetes, or you'll never get high blood pressure or high cholesterol or these other diseases, or you never start smoking. So things like that. But I mean, it's going to take past my lifetime, your lifetime. It'll probably be something that will be fixed maybe by the time our grandchildren.
Right. But the hope is that it'll get better.
Yes. I mean, every little thing does help. But, you know, you have to just start. And that's with anything in life. You just got to make that decision. I'm going to at least start.
So as you enter into your second and, of course, your annual trip to Cuba, what will be your focus going into this second trip compared to when you did the first trip?
I think this time I want to get more into the culture of Cuba. I want to learn more. I did learn a lot about their healthcare, but I would like to learn more about actually how they set up their preventative healthcare, because they actually risk stratify their people based on their healthcare risks. So if you're a smoker, you're stratified to this level. If you're a diabetic, if you're this, you get stratified, you get treated differently according to your health history. And then, of course, I want to learn more about the African culture of Cuba. I think in America, our history has not led African Americans to be as proud of being of African descent as they are in Cuba. They wear it proudly. Here we kind of try and poo-poo it and say, oh, I'm African American, but we truly don't say I'm African American. Gotcha. We are a gumbo of nations, even though we have a current person in the that wants to separate out this gumbo, but this is what we are as America. And this is what makes us such a great country, because we have so many different ethnicities and cultures that can mesh and make this country better. And going to Cuba, it made me have so much pride in my African history. And then also, on top of that, going to the African American Museum and Smithsonian in DC, I was actually able to see from the beginning of slavery to current our history. So all of that kind of just it was life changing to see all of that, and I just want to see it again. Especially the artwork is so beautiful there, and you just don't walk around and just see beautiful artwork. Like I think we have something here in Dayton. We have an African American art exhibit, but it's only there for a short time. In Cuba, it's every day. So you can just go to anywhere and just see beautiful art.
Yes. And so the lifestyle of those that live in Cuba, their focus is preventive measures. Can you share with our listeners their lifestyle of eating as opposed to our lifestyle of eating? For instance, when you go into their grocery stores, do their checkouts have the candy and gum?
No.
As you get ready to check out? So share a little
well,
bit of
they don't have, because they are a poor country, a communist-based country, there's food is more, actually, it's more kind of like a food stamp system, but it's the entire country. So the entire country gets a certain amount of food. And then I think on top of that, you work and then you purchase more. But they don't have no fast food. There is no McDonald's. There's no fast food. Their fast food is a sandwich, a real sandwich, not a burger. It's a bologna sandwich, or I actually didn't see their sandwiches, but it's a sandwich. It's not fast food. And then the average person there, I think, cooks pretty much all their meals. And then they don't have as much transportation as we do. So we saw a lot of people walking, riding bikes. And then, of course, they don't eat the amount of food we eat. And their food is very lightly salted. And there's not a lot of fried food as well. Most of their food is baked. And most of their food is fresh. So it's the quality, it's how the food is cooked, and it's the amount, and then it's fresh, so it's not processed. As I was listening to Marquetta talking about the types of food, their food is not as processed as our food. It's more straight from the garden to the plate.
And on a personal level, it really changed you, because you even talked about we have all of these gadgets and these things in America, and they don't have a whole lot there, but they have a lot. They have a lot. On the other hand, can you share a little bit how that shifted you?
Well, it took me out of I guess the day-to-day grind of living in America and seeing how other people could live with so much less and they were happy and content. I think in America we get inundated by everything. You need the latest phone, you got to have the latest phone, plus you got to have the watch that goes with it, plus you need the iPad, the Mac,
all the things.
You need the earbuds, you need this, you need that. And if you don't have the latest earbuds, then you're not cool, or and over there you just didn't see that. And then in our society, we're having problems with people getting hit by cars because they're texting and tweeting and walking down the street and walking across the street without looking up. But over there, you don't see those things because you don't see a lot of people walking around with cell phones. And their Wi-Fi is not as good as our Wi-Fi is very poor. So you see people more clustered in certain parts of the town to the Wi-Fi hotspots. And then those kind of become social gatherings, but they're social to each other.
Speaking of social gatherings, as we prepare to wrap up, and we've got a few more minutes left, can you talk a little bit about their social life? Are they moviegoers? Is there a lot of entertainment there? What do they do to relax? Or is there bowling?
From what we saw, it's not. I didn't really see a whole lot. We didn't really interact on that level, but I know it's like when we were where we were in Havana, we weren't technically on the beach. We were like on the I guess like a concrete shore where we could see the beach, but we couldn't walk. And we went out one night and sat in an area where there was the hot spot. We saw people playing music and dancing and socializing, and that's more what we saw. It's a totally different culture. It's not like you'd have to go to see.
What about the courtesy, opening the doors, speaking?
Yeah, I saw some of that, but I think it was a common thing, but more for the tourists. You know, they treat us a little better so they can get their tips. But I noticed that like we went to basically like one of their flea markets, and they were very aggressive with us on coming to their booths. Actually, I met 2 women, and they happened to be cousins, and I spent all my money with 2 women entrepreneurs. I even took some selfies. But you know, as a woman and an entrepreneur, I wanted to support women in business. So I think it's because it's such a new economy that's coming with America. I mean, Cuba has always been involved with America, but since Obama really opened up the gates back in 2016, they really appreciate us. Versus like I just came back from the Bahamas for a conference, and it was a totally different experience. It was horrible. I'm never going back. But in the Bahamas, their tips and gratuities are built into everything. So they automatically get a tip from you. They don't have to work for it. But in Cuba, they work for it, and they're happy to work for it.
And they appreciate it.
And they appreciate it because, you know, their economy and their way of life is improving because of us coming to visit and learn and experience their country. In the Bahamas, it's pretty much America on a beach. I mean, everything I saw in America, I saw in the Bahamas. It just added a beach. So I was like, I could just do that in Florida. But but Cuba is a life-changing experience.
And I'm sure you're looking forward to that trip coming up in October.
Yes.
And those that may have any particular questions for you, or maybe something that they would like you to research on your trip there, could they get in contact with you?
Yes, they could give my office a call at 937-228-3668 to schedule a time if they wanted to talk. Or they could email me at richfeet1@gmail.com. And as well, just want to remind everybody, I will be back on the air February 23rd from 12 to 1. And hopefully I'm going to get good enough to start posting these videos on my YouTube and
but
Facebook.
At least your Facebook Live.
Yes, I just want to learn how to repost, so I have to get with my high school kids so they can teach me how to repost these. But yeah, so it was just an awesome experience to go to Cuba. I'm very thankful to even have the opportunity to go and then also go back and hopefully make it an annual trip. And I would say to anyone that's looking to go out of the country, that would be my first trip.
Go to Cuba.
Go to Cuba.
You owe it to yourself.
Yes, to see something. I've been telling my 60, 70, 80-year-old patients, oh, I can't go. I said, they will figure it out for you. You need to go.
If you had to wrap up today's show in a few lines, information you want to share, remind listeners about, other than giving you a call, of course, what would you share with the listeners?
Prevention is key. Prevention saves limbs, it saves lives. If you have a problem, if you have a concern, call. I mean, talk to someone medical. Do not talk to your cousin Boo Boo and Bebe.
And Dr. Who was that?
And Dr. Google. Or Dr. YouTube. I mean, you need to talk to someone medical. You need to have someone to look at your problem, address your problem. Do not try soaking it, digging out some 5-year ointment out of your fridge or out of your bathroom, or taking antibiotics that are 10 years old, trying to cure something that you don't even know what you're trying to treat. And just coming in, seeing a physician, primary care, podiatrist, whatever, we can look at you and say, okay, you have this, we can fix this.
Absolutely.
So that's the key, is prevention.
And what's your final words?
Take care of your feet. You only have 2. There are replacements, but they're only made of metal or plastic.
All right, Dr. Richmond, we thank you once again. We always enjoy your show here on WDAO once a month here on the 4th Saturday of the month. And as you stated, you'll be back February 23rd.
Yes, February 23rd.
Black History Month. So you may have some interesting facts with us regarding the African American feet. So we'll look forward to that.
And African Americans in health and science.
All right. right. Well, we look forward to that. February 23rd, Dr. Richmond will be back with us. You can contact Dr. Tanisha Richmond at Richmond Foot and Ankle Clinic, 1323 West Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Way, inside of the Dr. Charles R. Drew Health Center, 937-228-3668. Dr. Richmond, thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
You're listening to AM 1210